understanding. So, we got some games today, as we were supposed to have three. However, we only have two due to COVID-19 continuing to run wild in the NFL, as quite a few Ravens have tested positive. Therefore, preventing the game from happening tonight. If you're a Ravens fan like me, you may say, well, the best part is your Thanksgiving won't be ruined. We all know that when you get attached to your football teams, that when they play on Thanksgiving, it can be good or bad. As somebody who used to be a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, I was often the victim of a diminished Thanksgiving. I would sit there and get attached to the games, and then next thing you know, they lose, and man, I would be irritated. And I take you back to 2012, Robert Griffin III. That's what I would call him during that year. I call him RG3 now because he plays for the team, but I call him Robert Griffin III simply because I was so tired, so irritated, because he played one great game that Thanksgiving where he single-handedly destroyed the Cowboys. Shout out to my good brother B Moore, Brandon, from the Dope Info Pod. I remember he and I were the Cowboys fans at work, and then that next morning, because it was Black Friday, he was like, man, we gotta deal with that for the next 20 years, 10 years. But things would turn out differently, obviously. Shout out to Mike Patton jumping in. Shout out to Mark. Appreciate you, Mark. Miss being here. I appreciate, it's good to be back. Good to be back. Mike says, Thanksgiving and football, and I'm so irritated with the Steelers players' responses on Twitter. Mike, absolutely. You cover the Titans, Mike. You know that the Steelers-Titans matchup earlier this year, because of what happened, shifted the Ravens-Steelers matchup earlier, which had to take place a week earlier. So, this season it's been off the chains. It's been off the hook, quite frankly. And I'll get into predictions later. But, man, for the Ravens fans, woo, it's been a lot. Mark says, I was really looking forward to watch the Steelers Ravens game tonight. Do you really think they're going to play the Sunday? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm at the point, to be honest with y'all, to keep it 100, I'm at the point I don't think the season will finish. I really don't. I think that the season will get canceled eventually. I just think or I should say delayed. We could be looking at a very warm Super Bowl. We could be looking at a Super Bowl coming up in March or April. That's just an opinion. No medical expert. Somebody jumps in and says, what's your opinion on the Manning brothers? Love the Manning brothers. Peyton Manning, I used to feel he was the greatest quarterback of all time, but as much as I'm not a Brady fan, it's kind of hard to go against him, especially in the clutch moments. But I think Peyton Manning is the smartest quarterback of all time. And Eli is just like one of those people who's just like, you count him out all you can, but then he wins. He wins Super Bowls. So it seems like the Steelers have been the most impacted team, and they're still 10-0 amazing. It's 10-0. Well, Mark, I'm a Ravens fan. I'm also saying it's amazing that the Steelers have the easiest schedule in the NFL. But you play who you schedule. You play who you schedule, and they do what they had to do. Quite frankly, they should have lost against the Ravens, but the Ravens coughed the game away. Got to make those adjustments. Got to make the adjustments. NFL is going to make sure the season ends with a Super Bowl, but but maybe late February. Mike, I really think it's really going to be later, bro. I do. I think March, April. The thoughts of the Steelers feeling the league is after. The thoughts of the Steelers feeling the league is after them is hilarious. Yeah, absolutely. Why would they feel like the league is after them? That's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They are one of the most prestigious franchises. Let's call it truth. They're one of the most prestigious franchises in the history of the sport. They have the most Super Bowl. They're tied. I'm sorry. They're tied with the New England Patriots. But overall, thanks, Peter. Happy to be back. Overall, with the Steelers, you can look at that franchise versus the Brady's, because Brady's is responsible for all six, Brady and Belichick. But the Steelers have Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, and obviously Chuck Noll. So to me, that makes them the most prestigious franchise as far as champions. And trust me, I don't like to admit that at all, but we got to call the truth the truth. Even with the Cowboys, you really got two sets of champions. The 49ers, really two sets. Joe Montana and Steve Young, but the Steelers literally have, granted, it was Ben Roethlisberger or Terry Bradshaw, but, it's just three sets of regimes, three sets of eras. So, and quite frankly, they could get back there again. It's not a long shot. I don't think they beat Kansas City, but I was actually looking at the Steelers schedule, and quite frankly, Ben Roethlisberger can say they're not chasing perfection, but why not? Why wouldn't you chase perfection? Especially in a year where there was no preseason, you kind of want to stay in rhythm. And I do think that, considering their schedule, I believe they will play the Bengals in week 17. Their second string will beat the Bengals. We know last week Joe Burrow went down, out for the rest of the season. So unfortunate. I was right there on the field, and I heard him. I heard the cry out, and I knew, I was like, oh man, this is bad. Like, I felt bad for him. He was fun to watch, and I just kept saying, I was like, man, his offensive line isn't doing him any favors. And for some reason, that chemistry with AJ Green hasn't developed. I was like, man, Baltimore needs to go get number 18. So, but real quick before I jump in, I brought up the Steelers, and I talked about how I feel. All right, they play the Browns. All right, so let's look at the remaining schedule. Right, Baltimore, the Ravens, they play Sunday night. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's not gonna be popular. I think the Steelers win. Sunday morning, 1:00. I think the Steelers win. Washington, Steelers gonna win that game. Buffalo, that could go either way. That's on Sunday night. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Buffalo is probably the biggest threat to them left on their schedule. Monday night, the following week, Cincinnati. That's a blowout. Indianapolis, they could be week 16. Indianapolis will be vying for a playoff spot. That could be a win for the Colts. I would expect, if the Steelers go into this game 14-0, they're probably resting, right? But their second string, I think, could get past the Colts, because you're not resting too many defensive starters. And then the Browns, obviously, I don't think they're going to go out there and lay down for the Browns by any means. So I really have the Steelers finishing out 16-0. Hope I'm wrong. It's you want to see history, but you don't want to see history when it's the rivalry. But props to them. They beat who they have to on their schedule. Quick news: Larry Fitzgerald test positive for COVID-19. Thoughts and prayers go out to him. We can't just look at this virus like a flu, ladies and gentlemen. We can't just look at this virus as oh, they'll get over it, they'll be fine. It's attacking people in different ways. Sure, Cam Newton had it. Sure, Kevin Durant had it. But you can't just say, oh, it'll be okay, because people are dying. That's why I really pray y'all not family gathering. But if you do, wear your mask. Even if it's around people you don't see all the time, wear your mask. It's not a political statement, folks. It's not a political statement. We just want to get back to normal. And we don't want this to be a new normal where we always have to wear masks. We want to get to a point where we can all gather again and we can fill up stadiums. Washington reports they want Alex Smith back next season. So I think he's been playing well, to be honest with you. He could play a little bit better. It's something, some of the decisions he made in that Giants game was a little weird, but Terry McLaurin is a star. And if you haven't been paying attention, we hear about DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to pay attention to Antonio Brown just because, and we're going to pay attention to a lot of other receivers. But Terry McLaurin is one of the best. He's definitely, I don't know if they're having a Pro Bowl. I doubt it, but he's definitely a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. He's just playing on a 3-7 team. I look for him to have a big game today. And then what else? Ravens disciplined strength coach. The Ravens disciplined their strength coach for his role in COVID-19 cases. He was walking around without a mask, they said. So that's not good. And then obviously Dallas Cowboys mourn the loss of their strength coach. Marcus Paul passed away at 54. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, especially during this holiday season. Pablo, what's good, man? Appreciate you hopping on. Appreciate it's good to be back here on Haps. Y'all know, not gonna lie, breaking forth. Well, I'm cooking. So while the turkey wings are in the oven, I said, I got some time. Let me get on Haps and talk some football, especially because we got about less than 30 minutes. It's tradition. You got to see the Lions play, whether you're a Lions fan or not. So let's get into this. The 4-6 Detroit Lions host the 3-7 Houston Texans. So Houston is pretty much, they're out of it. Let's call it for what it is. I think it needs to be some shaking up there. You got rid of the best receiver in the game, one of the best receivers in the game, at least. So somebody needs to go. Deshaun Watson just signed that deal, and now he's looking. The expectations will get higher, but it's not fair. But with that, I look for him to have a big game today. He's playing on Thanksgiving. The world will see. So I'm going to go with Houston to win this. Both teams will lead this game 4-7. Then we go on down to Dallas, where the Cowboys host the Washington football team. The last time they played Washington, Andy Dalton got hurt. And we know the Cowboys have been shaky. The winner of this game, the winner of this matchup, will be in the lead for the NFC East. So a lot's at stake here. I'm going with Washington. Washington coming off a win. Both teams coming off a win. But as much as it's very rare for these two teams to sweep each other, but I just think Washington's the better team. Their defense obliterated the Dallas offensive line. And because of that, I think that's going to happen again. I think we see a huge game from Chase Young. I've been saying that teams have been keying on him, and if you've been watching the games, you'll see that he's able, because of and shout out to my boy Devin, the stuff that he's able to do, the guys like Sweat can get going. So even though he's not making like the big plays all the time, we obviously know that Lions game, he all pretty much cost them the game when he had the passing, roughing the passer, and that put the Lions in position to win by a field goal. But I think Chase right here, this is an opportunity. Like I said, the national spotlight. This is the first Washington game where everybody's going to be watching. So the world's going to get a chance to see Chase Young and Terry McLaurin. And that's why I think the Redskins the Washington football team win this game. And I think they win it big. Folks, what y'all think? I'm hearing just through the grapevine that it's a possibility that the Washington football team will keep the name football team. Not sure if it's going to happen, but that's what I'm hearing, So we shall see. Let me know what y'all think. But I'm hearing they're going to be the football team. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it is what it is. But if you're doing something, make sure you subscribe, download the Haps app if you're watching from somewhere else. If you're watching from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, go ahead, download the app, holla at your boy, drop a couple coins. You should get some coins or drop a couple coins, support the podcast. Appreciate it. Feel free to sponsor me, and I'll be sure to keep bringing you some great content. But yeah, let me go ahead and let your friends know we are live right now before the games get started. So then we'll go to the game that was supposed to take place tonight, but instead is going to take place this Sunday, and that is the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The heated rivalry. Ravens had the game the last time. I stand by it. They had it in their hands and they let them off the hook. They had a lead going into halftime, And then the game just slipped away. Bottom line, they let Ben Roethlisberger get going, and it was a wrap. So, as much as I do believe, I think this is going to be a close game. Now, fun fact: what I usually do, I play Madden. Shout out if you're on PS5. Follow me at Main Event Status. But I play Madden right before the games, and I blew out the Steelers. No, I didn't. I won by 2 touchdowns. But you know, Lamar Jackson must have a good game. In 2 games against the Steelers, he's had a bad game in each. Or is it 3? Either way, he must have a good game tomorrow or Sunday, and I think he will, but I think the Ravens are going to come up short. I will say no fans in the stadium can be an advantage, But Heinz Field is a graveyard to kickers. It always was, but Justin Tucker always finds a way to overcome that. So I look forward to this game. It's going to be intense. It's Ravens Steelers. It's bad blood. Mike Patton brought up earlier. The Steelers have been running their mouth on Twitter. So we're going to find out, man. We're going to find out. But I'm picking the Steelers to win. As much, like I said, I'm picking the Steelers to win. I think they go undefeated for the rest of the season. So we got the Jets and the Dolphins. Usually, well, it is a throwaway game, but usually both teams will be bad. However, the Dolphins losing last week, they looking to come back with a win, and I think they'll get it done. I think this will be a blowout. I think Tua has a game that he's going to show out, especially they in New Jersey. This is going to be a good one. The Cardinals taking on the New England Patriots. Cardinals coming in 6-4, Patriots 4-6. I like the Patriots to win this game. I think, like I said, Larry Fitzgerald testing positive, so I don't see him. Maybe he will be back on the field by then, but they would need that veteran leadership. The Patriots aren't a bad football team. They're still getting, working out the kinks. What you're looking at is a team that's playing sort of not empty-handed, but less than 100% due to a lot of players elected not to play, and with a new quarterback with no preseason. So this could be a dangerous team as we get on down the line. One thing we know, they can run the football. It says, Kevin Hardwick fan 04 says got Washington winning. Yeah, I got Washington winning too, Kevin. I just think Chase Young and Terry McLaurin, those Ohio State boys, going to have a huge game today. Then we got the Panthers taking on the Vikings. I like the Vikings to win this. The Vikings seem to have found some new life after trading a bunch of players away, so I like them to win this one. We got the Browns taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Browns have been so much better without OBJ, and it's crazy, but they found a way to win these games, and they're in second place, and they're looking at something they haven't done since 2002, and that's make playoffs. They could make the playoffs. So, but with that being said, I think they blow the Jaguars out. Jaguars stuck in it with Pittsburgh last week for a quarter or two, but they're looking at the number. They would love to secure the number 1 pick. Obviously, it looks like the Jets are going to get that. Then we're going to have, what could be the game of the week. The 7-3 Titans taking on the 7-3 Colts. We know the Colts just beat them a few weeks ago. It's going to be tough to beat a team back to back, especially so close. But I'm going to pick the Colts in this one. I think they'll do it. I think things are starting to come together with them. And, of course, I'm rooting for them. So, yeah, I've got a lot of enemies and teams I don't like. It's all fun. It's all fun. I don't like the Steelers, and I don't like the Titans no more. I'm a Ravens fan. But then we got the Giants taking on the Bengals, a game that who wants to watch, right? But I got the Giants winning this. Joe Burrow's out for the remainder of the season. So sad to see a young, promising quarterback, but the line, the line's got to protect him. Hopefully Cincinnati will invest in their offensive line during this draft this year. And then we got the Chargers going to visit Buffalo. Buffalo 7-3. Don't see them losing this game. I expect them to, kind of win this by 10 points. And we got the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Usually teams don't travel that well, but, teams find a way to get it done against Atlanta, and that's what's going to happen. The Raiders are going to win this one. We're at that point of the season where, playoffs are shaping, and we kind of know okay, we look for this team to win or that team to win. So, it's at that part of the season. I don't see too many upsets happening in week 12, if any. Then we got the 49ers taking on the Rams. The Rams look good Monday night, and I think they start to look back into that team that they was a couple of years ago. Offense may not be as explosive, but they look good, and I think they win this one. They are definitely in a race for the division, with Arizona and Seattle. So a division game here would be very important, especially if a tiebreaker scenario comes. It comes down to a tiebreaker scenario. We got the Saints taking on the Broncos. The Saints, I guess Hill will be starting, but I think they 8-2. I think they'll get this done. I think this is a game that I see them winning. Now, here's the game. This is the game of the week right here. The 9-1 Chiefs taking on the 7-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes and the Mahomes boys. I'm gonna pick the Bucs to win. The Bucs will be home. It's hard to see them going, losing another game in a row. Chiefs are traveling. I think that's gonna be the advantage. I like Tom Brady and them to win. Tom Brady. Here's the thing: if he loses, the playoffs are in jeopardy, without a doubt. The playoffs are in jeopardy, and it's weird to even think about playoffs without Tom Brady, who's healthy. I just can't see it. I'm looking for something. So, all right, so if I look at the standings, right, they're 7-4. So let's say they lose, that puts them at 7-5. So we know we're gonna get. Yeah, they would be in serious trouble because you got LA, Arizona, and Seattle who could possibly be in the playoffs. Obviously, the NFC East is sending one team. The NFC North, they're sending Green Bay. I don't see Chicago coming back. They're 5-5. So, yeah, Tom Brady and them needs to win this game. You best to believe he knows they need to win this game. Therefore, I think he will win this game. So, let's move on. And the Packers and Bears Sunday night. I really wish they would flex the Ravens Steelers the Sunday night, but NBC gonna be rolling, and maybe they will. Who knows? Maybe they will. But I think the Packers win this. I know it's a big rivalry game, and I don't see the Packers laying down for the Bears. And then Monday night we got the 7-3 Seattle Seahawks traveling to the city of brotherly love and all the Philly Johns. Is that how y'all said? Take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Seahawks winning this one. Russell Wilson, I think you looked for him to be, he's an MVP candidate. And this is going to be one of his games he shows out, So I think they win that one. I'm looking forward to this, and I was thinking about this. I want to know what y'all think. I was thinking about who's on the Madden cover. I just, as a Ravens fan, you just want the season to kind of be over with, and we don't want EA Sports ever to come back to Baltimore and offer any of the Baltimore Ravens a spot on the Madden cover. You saw it with Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh had Troy Polamalu on the cover with Larry Fitzgerald in 2010. Polamalu got hurt. They had Antonio Brown on the cover a couple years ago. We all know what happened there. So Ravens fans are reeling the effects. Ray Lewis was on the cover years ago. Team didn't have a good year at all. And now Lamar Jackson's on the cover. And as much as he's trying to overcome, it's not happening. But the Ravens could win out. The Ravens could very well win out as much as so it could go either way. They could beat the Browns or Steelers. They should not lose to the Jaguars, Giants, or Cowboys. They just shouldn't. So time will tell. But but the Madden cover, I was thinking Kyler Murray or Christian McCaffrey, but I don't think McCaffrey's having like that kind of season. I hope they put Derrick Henry on it. Put Derrick Henry on the Madden cover. That's what I'm applying for. Derrick Henry for the Madden cover. That's what I want to see. And we shall see. But yeah, let me know who y'all think. Tweet me at Brian H. Waters. Nobody said enough. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss anybody's comments from the chats. But yeah, tweet me at Brian H. Waters. I'm going to get out of here. I know kickoff is about to start, so make sure y'all tweet me. We can talk during the game. I'm going to look at some of why I cook this food. happy holidays to everybody. Y'all be safe out there. Please wear your mask. It's not hard, you know. Just put your mask on. It's important. And for those who don't know, make sure it covers your nose and your mouth. You know, if you gotta talk, go, pull it out so people can hear you. Turn around, talk in the corner, But please wear your mask, folks. If you're around people today that you don't see and that you don't live with, make that clear. People that you don't live with. And Mike Patton says the whole city of Nashville says no to Henry. I mean, we've never seen a running back like that. Obviously, the Titans know about the Madden curse. Vince Young, Steve, Aaron McNair, no, not McNair, Eddie George were both on the cover. So go ahead and make the trifecta. Make the trifecta. Put Derrick Henry on the cover of Madden. But I'm getting ready to get out of here, folks. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm probably going to do a show reflecting the career of The Undertaker. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do that coming up probably, later on, maybe the weekend. So, The Undertaker officially retired. Anybody knows, clearly, I'm a wrestling fan. So I would like to, definitely want to reflect on that and bring that to Haps Media. So till the next time, folks, I'm Brian H. Waters. Happy Thanksgiving. Goodbye and good day.